And we're recording now. As you can see, I've got exercise 4b, create features, but I'm working off of what I did in exercise 4a. And I wanted to show you a little quick trick really. If you want to continue on without altering this project, if you ever had to go back to 4a, for instance, you can just go to project and see where it says save project as. You can then create a new instance by creating a name here. I'm not going to do it. You see I've already done that. There's my 4a still. So I'm going to cancel that, continue on with what we're doing here. So in 4b, the water lines layer is missing a feature, a line feature. And we'll create this in the exercise using a feature template, construction tools, and editing options. So in this exercise, we'll configure the snapping options to facilitate editing, create a new water line that connects to existing water point valve points, and enter attributes for the new water line feature. Now in your book it mentions about configuring snapping options. Snapping is a tool that allows you to, as you're creating features, to act like a magnet. As you edit, if the point you create within a specified distance of another feature's vertex, endpoints, edge, or intersection, this will allow it to jump or snap to coincide with another feature. This allows you greater accuracy at connecting features without trying to sketch by hand and making errors or gaps and so on. So the first thing we'll do is change the selection and editing status of the layers so you can easily select the features and edit them at will. So in the contents pane, we're going to select the list by selection button, like so, and we're going to turn off everything other than the water lines layer, like so. Next, we'll click the edit by list by editing button right there, and you might get a couple of errors here. Don't worry about that. What we're going to do is make sure we've turned off everything except our water lines, like so. Now we'll return to the drawing order, and now we have our symbology back. We can tell those. Alright, I have a little problem here. My map is not showing any bookmarks. So let's see what's going on. Alright, I'm recording again. So I'm not sure why my map here did not have a bookmark, but I found the location, step 5 on page 128. This is where we're going to be making an edit. I created a bookmark by simply hitting new bookmark, and wherever you're at in the map, I'll just do this one more time. I'll just do this bookmark 2, step 5, page 128, like so. And if I zoom out and I go to bookmarks now, you see I have bookmark 2. I click on that and it goes straight to here. If you're trying to look for it on your map, if you had the same problem, look for Sunrise Park and Columbia Park. It's kind of midway between there, Reynolds High, and you can zoom in to this area. So again, to reiterate, we see that our data set has 2 missing water lines. Every valve should be connected to a water line. And we see that we have that is not the case. So now we need to click the Edit tab on the ribbon at top. And before we start, we'll look at the existing line that runs along Southwest 19th Way. That's that line right there. To see the composition of the line, click the Select tool. And we've got a little pop-up here. And that's just telling us a little bit about that. So now we'll use the Select tool to select that one line. And on the Edit tab, we're going to now, with that line selected, go to Edit Vertices, which should pull up something like this, showing what it is that we're going to edit. I'll make this a little smaller over here, pull it over there for now. So next we'll click the Edit Vertices. And now you should see the Modify Features pane. Well, we're in the Modify Features pane, excuse me. But the Vertices toolbar here with several different options here. You can either select by lasso, add, delete, continue features, stretch, finish, or cancel your edits if you decide that you made an error or need to redo them. So we'll now zoom to the corner of, what is it? Southwest 19th Way and Southwest Right Place. And I'm going to use my scroll bar as it's indicating in your text so that we don't disturb anything else. Don't deactivate the current tool and the like. If I zoom in a little bit more, reading off the page on page 130, all lines have one vertex at each end and an unlimited number in between. If you just make a straight line, you'll have one vertex at both points, both ends of that line. If you were making a curved line or a more complex shape, you might have more vertices. So go ahead and clear that selection. Where are we doing that? Oh, hold on a second. So I'm going to clear that right there, like so. And now we're instructed to click on the snapping button, like so. And we can configure this a number of different ways, but we want to configure it so the snapping tool snaps only to certain places, such as points or lined ends. You can do polygon edges and so forth. So on top of page 131, item 12, click the snapping button down arrow and configure the tool so that only point snapping and vertex snapping are turned on. So this is point snapping, we'll undo that one, and vertex snapping right there. These two are the ones we want. And this will allow us to snap to an existing line vertices, valve points as we create our waterline features. Now you see I clicked out of the editing tool and went back to map so that I could reorient this without accidentally selecting anything. Let's go back to edit. We've got our snapping still the way we want it, configured the way we want it. Now we want to create the line feature, an L-shaped water line that begins and ends with existing water lines. So in the editing toolbar, we're going to hit create. The create features pane shows up over here. I'll just maximize that a little bit. And if you click the drop down as I already did, you'll be on page 132, item 2. And this shows you the different types of edits you can make. We want the first one, which is the line tool, and we want that to be active. With that active, we're going to snap to the line here. Let's just make sure we got our snapping set. Okay. We're going to now snap from there. And you'll see that it lights up when it's locked on to that point. It knows we want to go there to that valve and so forth. You can also right click, I believe, and what does it say? Deflection. Hold on, let me cancel that. Okay. Right click anywhere on the map. I gotta go back a little bit here. Hold on. So let's go back to this. We're clicked on there, and boom, we are there. All right. All right. Now we'll resume. It took me a little bit to figure this one out, so go ahead and start your next line as you see in the book, page 134, and go ahead and whoops, sorry, cancel that one. Control V. All right, back to our line tool, and we'll right click here and we'll do distance, and we want that distance to be 58.8, like so, and that will make our line like that. And we want to right click again, make sure our angle is 0. Whoa. Let's back up here. Okay, so let's start another one. And we're going to do first distance 58.8, and click there. Now we're going to want that angle. To do deflection, let's see. I'm not quite sure why we need to do this, because I can easily click there at that point and we get what we were hoping for. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we've created, and we can zoom in a little bit here to see what we got. We've connected to that water main. And now we're going to put a final vertex and connect like so. And when we're done with that, we can go to finish. And we will stop editing. Now I've cleared the selected features, and we can zoom out and see that we've made and completed the rectangular polygon, if you prefer. Okay, now we need to enter some attribute data. So first I'm going to move out of create features and modify features. I'll go back to my map tab, make sure I don't accidentally start clicking around and creating other features here, because we don't want to do that. And we're going to open the waterlines attribute table, like so. So go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of that. We created a couple of lines here. You might have had 2 or 3, depending on how you did that. I'm not going to be a stickler here. So the first one, though, should be object ID 2308. And we'll go ahead and select that. And you can see it's selected on the map and in your attribute table. We will enter the attribute data as instructed. Bottom of page 137. This is going to be zone 1. DI is the P material. The street name is going to be on the top of page 138. I'm going to just put these in as we go without talking here. So the street name, we have SW 20th Way. I guess I am going to talk. / right place, like so. Date built is going to be 03/03/2015. Under private, we'll put an N. And under length, mil, and put 0.079499, like so. Last flush. Huh? That's a pleasant thought. Will be 4/15/2018 at 12 a.m. I guess we could put all of that in there if we want. Oh, it's got the time. Oh, we could even use a calendar, right? So let's put the time as it instructs, 12 a.m. That's fine. Okay. And then the P diameter here is going to be 8. That's from our last exercise where we created these P diameters and so forth. Okay. So now switch back from map to edit and hit save. And you want to save your edits like so. You can clear the selected feature. Let's just do that. Now it's grayed out, so we know we've saved the edits. And if For this exercise, the screenshot I want to see will be this. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new one, like so, all the way across. And we're going to save that, and you'll upload yours. And this is EX, what was it, 4b. All right. Thanks for joining in.